October 24, 2025. This is the S&P 500 E-Futures Mini on the 2002 chart using NinjaTrader 8. What does the chart look like today? So it kind of spiked up. This big, huge move up was the core CPI, Consumer Price Index, kind of tells you how inflation's going. The market reacted really positively, pretty much spiked up, didn't come back down. Well, it came back down, but it didn't come back down to where it was before. It came back down, pretty much moved sideways horizontally for the rest of the day. There was another piece of economic data that came out around 6:45, which is about where right where my cursor is. It's the flash manufacturing PMI and services manufacturing PMI, or services PMI. And this is kind of how I drew up the charts today. It was, despite this, let me close this up a bit. Despite this, it wasn't a really active day. There weren't too many trades that I identified. I did take one trade, which is good, and it was a winner. Unfortunately, that's all I could find. And yesterday I didn't take any trades, but I also was pretty busy. So I was actually away from my desk. So there was no video and no uh, trades taken. I did do a chart review for myself, but I didn't bother putting out a video. So I'm going to get into the charts right now. So pre-market looked like it was a move up, two legs down, another push up, sideways, hit this resistance. Then this is where the core CPI data came out, flushes up really aggressively, moves down on this red down channel. There are second entries, but essentially second, third, and fourth entries. So even if this is in real time, or not real time, regular trading hours, I'd be cautious, especially coming right after this big news event. Pushes up on this green up channel, breaks, tests the high. This red up channel doesn't really matter, or didn't really give me any trade. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this right now. So it pushes down, looks like it's two legs, one leg down, pull back, second leg, no clean entry, pushes up. You get a higher low here, but this higher low is already breaking the previous highs, so previous swing highs, so there's no real trade here. Pushes up, first entry long, pull back, and that's all you get. So actually it's from here, first entry long, it creates a triple test, but although I noticed there's a potential triple test here, it's not a very strong setup because this red down channel needs to test the low. This is the wrong colored signal bar. So you could say it's a first entry long, potential second entry long, but this is your signal bar for the second entry long. Is a good follow through, except when you see this bar, you don't know this bar is going to print, so there's no trade here. Pushes up, comes back down on this green down channel, first entry long, pull back, technically a second entry long, but I saw it as two legs, one leg, pull back, second leg, or just one big leg. So there's a little ambiguity here, so I just kind of left it alone. Creates a new low, first entry short, second entry short is a bad signal bar to go short on, so you wouldn't have thought to go short. You could think that maybe there is going to be, let me kind of crunch this down to show my thinking process in real time. With first entry short, second entry short, this isn't a good signal bar to go short on. You think that maybe the green down channel wants to test the low. I did establish a trend line or a channel, excuse me, a range resistance. And I thought this red line was going to turn into a possible low of the range. But when I later established it here, it's not established yet. So it pushes down, pushes back up. It almost looks like it's moving up this purple up channel. I saw this one leg break, test the high. I was wondering if it's going to come up and push to the high of this potential range. So there's no setups now because it's just first entries essentially. But it does obey this purple up channel pretty well. And now it finally touches and has a fail breakout. So it's a fail breakout on this side, and I did have this now established as a potential range. There's a fail breakout on this side, corresponding fail breakout on this side, potential resistance on this purple up channel, but no setup as presented. Pushes down, bounces, creates this potential second entry long. So it's a new high, first entry long. There's a count reset here. But if you did count it as a first entry, you could say this is potentially a second entry, but this is an almost trade because you're clearly running into some kind of resistance here. So no safe trade in my opinion. So if you did enter, you'd be entered here. And depending on how many points you're going for, if you're going for one, you might have barely gotten out. I don't think you would have. And you probably would have gotten stopped out as it came back down. But this is a potential fail breakout of this blue range. I'm not the most convinced that this channel is strong enough to have another push attempt to test the highs here, considering that this could be a possible resistance. So prices are moving back down now. Moves down what I think is its orange down channel. There's really not very clean second entries, no obvious like two legs. The first entry short, unfortunately, I don't get a second entry short. It comes back down. Now I'm watching carefully to see if this is an actual support area. Bounces and actually breaks through. It moves down what I think is this this yellow down channel. Touches once, twice, kind of a third time. Touches once, twice. Creates this overshoot. So if you're playing this yellow down channel, you have a confirmed second entry short here. So it's a new low, first entry short, second entry short. But I'm reluctant to take the first, second entry on the original bias, because the original bias is going down bearish, it's selling off, but there's an overshoot on this side. So you have a first entry, second entry. I'm cautious in taking a short here because I've seen that when it overshoots on this side, there's a tendency for it to want to create a corresponding overshoot on this side. So it's the first, second entry. It's nice that it came up, got rejected by the EMA, and it engulfed this bar. But to feel safe, I need to see a lower high confirmation. And you don't get that lower high, it just kind of flushes back up. But this could create the overshoot corresponding to this. But again, when it breaks on the low side, I think, well, I've seen that it has a lower probability of testing this low because it already tested the low essentially. So asking it to come back down and break below this guy, which already broke the original channel, I found less likely. If it broke on the high side and this was holding support previously, then yes, there's a higher probability of it coming back down and touching and testing the extreme. It kind of pushes up on this purple up channel. You have technically a first entry long, second entry long, bad signal bar, no trade. Bounces. Looks like the EMA might hold, but then it breaks, flushes through, moves down to this orange down channel, break. So this is the break that I usually talk about. If there's a break on this side and this side has been holding strong, then I believe it will come back and test the low. But this is a small break. If there's something more decisive, then I think, yeah, this leg probably is going to test the low. In this case, it does. Breaks, pushes back up. You technically have first entry short. You have a second entry short. Second entry short has failed here, and you have a potential higher low. The higher low, I thought is a weak setup, mainly because when I drew this as a trend line, it wasn't a channel yet. This is the only thing going for this higher low, aside from, it's above the EMA. But the EMA itself is not reliable because it's just chopping sideways through all these candles. So I saw this almost trade. I did like that it was a strong signal bar, but you can't just take a trade based upon the strength of the signal bar. It needs a lot more going for it, because I did like it. It broke below, came up, and closed, but it didn't break above the high, and it did pull back slightly. Plus, I'd be worried about this double top potential area of resistance. So it pushes up, moves up this yellow up channel. This yellow up channel, I turned this trend line into a trend channel, and it fit pretty well. You have a new high, first entry long pullback. You have a second entry long here, but it's an almost trade. Again, this doji shows indecision, and it's a very neutral doji. It opened and closed at the exact middle of this candle. So I'm reluctant to just take a trade here. There's not even a triple test. Which is up. Potential fail breakout of this. So I had a trading range here, but it didn't hold very long, so it's no longer valid. I was thinking there is a potential support area here, especially when it broke back up and through. I was thinking, is the top of the trading range this line here and actually this line here? But I kept in my mind that there could be a potential lower, actually it was slightly lower all the way down to here. Later I adjusted it up. Fail breakout. So now it bounces off what I think this darker green line is. So I was thinking at the time, this is my trading range. So I create a failed breakout. I'm expecting a push to the high and create a corresponding breakout. So I saw one leg up, pull back. It fails to reach it, comes back down. So now this is actually where it sets up my trade, my one trade. I see a new low. I see a first entry short, second entry short. You can do a count reset right here. Say first entry short, pull back, second entry short. So it is a confirmed second entry short. Now it looks like the second entry short, it looked like it's about to fail. So it is a new high, first entry long pullback, potential second entry long. I actually like this signal bar. So what I was thinking of is there's a fail breakout and made one leg up, pull back. It looks like it wants to make another leg up to the high side and a potential breakthrough, because this is what I was trading at the time. I thought it was this trading range. So I thought, okay, there's a possible trade. Also looks like a visual first entry short, pull back, second entry short. Second entry short's about to fail. Second entry long is about to confirm. So I got my order ready. When it opened and it pushed up, broke decisively over this guy, I dropped my order in one tick above, came back for me, picked me up, and then pushed up. My stop is actually below this at the time. Pushes up, got my 2-point scalp. So I didn't really want to risk, well, 2 points is what I usually go for. So it's pretty nice. If it was too close to the high end or the top of this range, I wouldn't have gone for 2. I might have gone for just 1. Then it pushes up and out. So it would have been good enough for maybe 3, maybe 4 points. It pushes back down. So it hits this bottom of the range and it starts bouncing and then starts pushing back down. So at this time, I was thinking, okay, this range, I don't know if it's going to have another push back into this range because the breakout was so large. But it actually does. It pushes back through, but it doesn't hit the high side. So it creates a first entry long, pull back. You create a second entry long. Second entry long is about to fail. Also a new low, first entry short, pull back. Second entry short. Second entry short hasn't failed yet. I was thinking, is it going to run into this potential range, or is there, again, let's see, there you go. Let me grab the handle of this guy. Or is this range actually slightly right here? It's slightly right here. You do have enough room just for a quick 1-point scalp, though. I wouldn't go for 2 because you're potentially running into here, and you potentially run into this support area because this could actually be the low of the range. So if I was going to take a trade, I would only go for 1-point scalp, but I didn't want to because I was pretty happy with this, and it's past my. I've been trying to be more disciplined and not look for more trades than I have to after 10 o'clock Pacific Standard. So if I wanted to take a trade, I would have just put it 1 tick below here. Looks like I would have gotten it, and this would have been good enough for 1-point scalp, but it would not have been good enough for a 2-point scalp because I actually looked at it. So if you took it here, let's say it's 1 point below, so it's 68, 34, 25. I need to get down to 1 point. So I would have just gotten out. But if you try to go for 2, can't seem to do this. If you try to go for 2, I recall that it would have been stopped out just short. So if you went for 2 and you entered right at the high, that'd be great. But if you entered 1 tick below, it looks like you would have gotten stopped out, or it would not have worked. And then one of these candles would have stopped you out. Even if you kept it this high, the stop way above here, which is dangerous considering the risk reward, you would have gotten stopped out by this guy. But this is a possible trade for a 1-point scalp, though. So it creates a new low, first entry short, pullback, second entry short, potential failure, but you don't know it's going to fail because it's too doji. It fails here, but you're not going to try to take a trade into this potential resistance area. Not drawing the best, but right here, it's just too risky. Prices then continue moving up, hits the high side of this range, starts deflecting back down. So now I'm pretty sure the high of this range is firm. This is a good resistance. You can trust this as a bounce point. But the low side, I'm still a little confused because is it this low of this blue one or is this the green one right here? Hard to say because it could actually be even lower. I highly doubt that it was actually even lower than that because I was playing at one time with the idea that could it actually be all the way down here. But I didn't like this one so much because you only have really one touch confirmation. Could it actually be something here? Don't really have any touch confirmations here. I mean, you have this guy, but then you have barely touch and it breaks through. And I thought maybe slightly higher. You barely have any touch. You only have one touch, and then this one breaks through. So I was playing with the potential that this green one is at least an area of caution or a key entry point, or the lower side, this blue one. So it looks like it's first entry long pullback, second entry long. Unfortunately, it doesn't bounce off of here, so I was looking for a higher low. Get a higher low here. The higher low is an almost trade, though, because my concern was, since I'm trying to scalp for 2 points, I would be pushing against, I'd be taking a trade here and trying to push to the limits right here. If you did try to take it, you'd be in the trade right now, and then your stop, if you kept it down here, you so far be safe, but then finally, after all this time, one of these candles would have taken you out. So it hits and bounces off the green potential support area, or the bottom of the range, I don't know. Pushes up, again, has good respect for the high side, pushes back down. Now it's testing it a second time. So it's actually break, test the high, pull back. Could there be another push up? I'm not 100% sure. Oh, actually, it didn't see this one. There's actually a low, first entry short, pullback, second entry short, multiple tests. So I should have noticed this a little earlier, but this green up channel broke, test the high. Now it's pushing back down. There's a potential trade here, at least for a 1 point scalp. I mean, you don't really have to worry about the EMA at this point, but you look at the graph right now, it's 68.40, 68.39. So these are just 1 point grid lines or 1 point separations. So for here, going for 2 points potentially, because you do have an established high. But I think since it's late in the day and I wasn't really looking for trades, I probably would have just been conservative, go for 1 point. In this case, the 2 points would have been fine. And if you try to go, if you stuck in it because you got a bad entry, you still would have been okay because it never came back up to stop you out. But from the high side, it's the first entry long pullback, second entry long. So here I'm very curious. I mean, it's too late to try to take any trades, but I want to know if this low of the range or the green line, support line was the valid one. So right now it looks like maybe the blue one was valid. This is probably why I kept it down here. Bounces, but it breaks through. And this is getting into the last 10 minutes where all bets are off. So now it just gets choppy. End of the week, end of the day, last 10 minutes. I don't think it's just going to get really volatile. Price action gets kind of whippy. Kind of pushes down. No trades here because it's just not a good idea to try to take any trades here. Pushes in, pretty much moves sideways in a really choppy fashion into the close. So, you know how I saw the charts today. Took one trade, have a few almost trades marked, but I didn't like them for one reason or another. But it's also rather slow, low volatile day. It just kind of spiked up after this CPI data and then moved effectively sideways. So hopefully that was helpful.